Right. Hey, we are here and it is Geek Speak time and year in review, which is wins and lessons. So you're not going to want to miss out and chime in to let us know yours. And I'm Pip, Seymour Digital Media.
I'm Phelan, also with Seymour Digital Media.
And I'm Rena from Little Works Indie Media.
And welcome everyone. I'm Greg from Original 72 Creative.
Right. And, and today, every year, see, I want to do this every year. We're going to get on here and really just like have a chat up about all the lessons and all the things we did and we won at and we lost at, or well, lessons we call them, right? And so I wanted to just kind of do a round robin and like just have a conversation about like what do you guys think? First we do lessons. No, first we do wins and then lessons. What are you thinking? Rena?
Well, I'm thinking
Okay.
I only got two sentences organized, so that's what I'm thinking right now. Do you want me to go first?
Yes.
All right. So I added up my some of my important numbers. So lesson is add up your numbers, but you should have already been doing that if you joined us last week for the planning session. But I'm just trying to pull up my numbers right now because, of course, they're not at the top anymore. Here we go. So the things that I look at are not only did I hit my goals or anything like that. So we want to look at those things, and this is where we find usually most of our challenges, or for me, most of my challenges and my wins is when I actually review these numbers. So what I've got here that I'm looking at is here we go. Okay, so basically, I look at what channels what are my new channels and what are the new strategies or tactics that I put in place. And 2023, I did focus, and up until 2023, I was looking at a lot of working with grants and trying to help my clients get the grants that are necessary for them to utilize my services and get their marketing up to the next level. And 2023 was pretty good about that. It was mostly small grants I was working in, like $2,400 grants, the Grow Your Business Online. And I looked at how can I actually leverage that better. So this year we worked on pitching those grants to people that wanted bigger services, more services, so that we weren't just thinking in terms of $2,400 is the most we can do for them. So we looked at how can I apply that, like as a discount or a coupon or a added benefit or something like that. And that worked out very well. And then the other thing that I did was I partnered with somebody else who was doing the larger CDAP grants, which was the Boost Your technology. At first glance, that grant wasn't that appealing to a lot of small business owners because you got just a piece of strategy for that $15,000, right? So it didn't seem super valuable. And even one of my clients sort of complained that, well, that was all in my brain. And I'm like, yeah, but it never got to paper and it didn't get organized and executed, right? So it's true. A lot of that came from people, but what they weren't seeing was the added value of being able to hire the new people with a grant, or pay the people that they already had on staff, which was a new thing. So usually you can get hiring grants pretty easy, but to find money to pay your current staff to implement that technology was something new, and there's a lot of value in that for some of our clients. And then the other piece was the zero interest line of credit for 3 years. You had no interest on a line of credit that you applied for up to $100,000. Now, granted, most people were getting around $50,000 or $75,000, but still, that's zero interest line of credit. Like you can use that
good.
money in so many great ways, right? Much better than financing it in other ways, unless you've got a
I,
lot of cash on hand.
I think that's a big lesson actually when you
Yeah.
think about it because we're scrappy. With the boot strings, pull up your. I know we don't
Straps.
have bootstraps, but we don't. I don't want to take on debt, and I know
No.
that this year's lesson was maybe debt isn't that bad. That was one of the lessons.
Yeah, so
Well,
good debt, bad debt. There's a big difference between the two. One can be looked at as an investment or well, usually an investment, and then the other one can just like drown you in interest charges. So that it's not always good,
Mm.
and you have to really have somebody on your team, like an accountant, for example, to keep you straight with making those decisions, which is another lesson I learned. So
Oh,
that was
that's a
my
good
challenge.
lesson. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Also, I just want to step in there to say a zero interest loan is actually free money because of inflation, right? So the money you eventually have to pay it, the money you
yeah,
have in the future, it's not going to be a lot, but at like 2% to we've experienced inflation for the first time this
yeah,
year in our
yeah,
lifetime, really. And so like if you have 5% inflation and someone gives you a 0% interest rate, that's actually
yeah,
that loan is 5% reduced by the time you actually get to paying
yeah.
them back.
That's correct.
Uh,
This second part of that that's really good is that you don't actually have to spend it all. That's a beautiful thing about a line of credit. You don't have to, but it's sure nice to have it in your back pocket or create a plan for a certain portion of it or something like that, where you can actually do things in chunks. You don't have to leverage every single piece of um, credit that you have available, although you can, which is great. So a lot of people were a bit afraid of that line of credit, but that boosts your business technology. So what was really great for me and my big lesson is that when I first started doing that, the consultant gave me a referral fee. And it was a fairly large referral fee. So I was able to take that referral fee because really all I did was make an introduction. And so it didn't really, there was no cost for me to do that introduction. So I could take that entire referral fee and upsell my clients and turn that into a package, which was really a big win for me because I was able to get another group of these were all leads. These were none of them were my clients. I was able to get them in the door, get my work in front of them, build some rapport with them, and keep them. Some of them, anyways. And so that worked out really well. So the thing that I want to emphasize, though, is that changing the model of your business, which I thought I was when I first started doing this, I thought I was cheating. Do you know what I mean? I thought I was cheating because that wasn't the model of business that I had intended to do forever in my business. But what I realized at some point was that this was actually like probably one of my best moves I've ever made. Like, I really, really feel like it was a really good situation for me, both in getting good leads in and also being able to help people, which is, the number one reason why I'm in this. And then the second thing is making sure that small businesses get these grants because generally also what happens is a lot of the grant money that the government puts out goes to very large corporations and they actually utilize grants as a revenue stream. So they think about it as a revenue stream. They don't just think about it as like we think about or some of us
The
have
pain.
thought about. Yeah, well
The
it's a
pain of
lot
it
it's a
all.
little yeah, it's a little bit of work to set up the applications and it's
Did you see
also
Greg's twitch? He twitched a smile
no,
there. I saw that, Greg.
a little bit of a little so it's a little bit of work on the application part for sure. And a lot of people think and it's the weirdest mentality I've seen. Small business owners think that, oh, that's for businesses that are failing or businesses that don't have money. I'm okay, I'm doing okay. But really it's big businesses utilize all of the money. So small businesses, when I can help them get access to grants, then it's usually the first time they've ever applied for a grant, and
But
there's
you
grant
you've
money
been
available every
yeah.
year. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's true. And it's a really good way to differentiate your business, I guess. For sure it is. Because you could put that on your website now, right?
I
Like,
do. So I actually collect an email list for people who are interested in being contacted whenever new grants come available that I think they will qualify for. So yes.
oh, I
So
love
that's a
that.
whole
And you've
big
been
thing.
working on this for years though. You've been working with grant people.
I
Like,
have.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
have. I have for years. And but I haven't really leveraged it to the extent that I was able to in 2024 because they had the boost your technology business and I really focused and shifted and that's what looking at your numbers allows you to do. You can look where does the money come from? Like where are the clients coming from? Which are your best clients? What do they have in common? And then you can figure out, okay, how can I make this even better? How can I work this angle better for next year so I can help more people. And that was my win. So the
It's
challenge
huge.
was, yeah. So are we going to do challenges afterwards
Yeah, we'll go
after everyone
around.
does their
We'll
win?
go
Okay,
around. Yeah,
great.
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
save my
So,
challenge then.
Greg, what's your win this year? If you got one.
I had two things this year that, well, one was a partnership that was solidified, and the other, so that's not really a win, but just a positive for
What does that mean
That's
though?
that's a
Let's
win.
year.
That's a
get
win.
some
That's a
details.
win.
It is a win.
I will
It is a
just
win.
let me
Okay.
keep going. And my other, what I'm considering an actual win is that I got about 50% of my blog posts out for the Geek Speak topics that I did
Awesome.
this
We all
year.
know how hard that
And
is.
I've never blogged before, so
Oh,
I'm calling
wonderful.
50% a win.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
I think that's
And
huge. I
so
think that's huge when you
A
haven't done it
website
before.
developer
we'll
becomes a
later,
marketer.
but my goal for this upcoming year is try to get that to 100% for my topics for next year.
Right on.
So,
I
but
love that.
more on the partnership that I solidified. It's a relationship I've had probably going back to my former business, Jamacron. We didn't have the need for hosting or co-location because we did that ourselves in that business. But we did
Right.
have people that we knew who referred clients to us for our services that were either co-location facilities or hosting companies. And one of those relationships I've had for going back since early 2000, we kind of solidified that I would be the person who would take care of all of the web development for web, specifically WordPress web development for any of the clients that he has in his co-location or hosting facility. So that's
Well,
been a pretty
that's a
good
good partnership.
of continued project work that I'm getting. Yeah.
Terrific.
Nice.
Well done.
Nice. That's
So after
partnerships.
20 years, it's finally coming.
It's become easier. Is it? Yeah. How long have you been in business now on your own? I mean, for Original 72.
Since 2010.
Okay.
But the 10 years prior to that, I had my own business with two other partners doing essentially the same thing. We did focus more on e-commerce back then, but it
And
was
you had an
e-commerce
office.
management. We had
Yeah,
a full
yeah.
office and
And your sales
employees
rep.
in the office sitting in butts. Yeah,
Yep, yep. Loved your sales rep, didn't you?
sure, sure.
Okay, so that's a huge win. So a new partnership. So we got, and do you look at your books like Rena?
Not as closely, no.
Me neither. I'm working on it though. We changed accounting system, so now I'm being forced. But that's good. But actually, I could get tips from you, Greg. You use QuickBooks, right?
I do. I think the difference between maybe myself and the three of you is that I'm not looking to expand and get a team, whereas Rena is always looking, to get more business and add people. You guys, I know you've been,
We've tried.
proactive and getting more projects and expanding into hiring. I did that, and I'm not going to do it again.
Not for you.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
It
It's
is
not for
really
the
one
faint
of
of
the
heart.
it's one of the hardest things to do for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
And it's been hard. That's all I can say. I mean, you meet
Totally.
great people. You're paying for people's livelihoods. I think that's. I have a lot of feelings in that. But yeah, Phelan, what was your win? You got a win?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that we've done a lot more to automate aspects of our business, which has been nice to figure out ways
Is
to
that
little.
is that
Uh,
Pip's win too?
No,
Probably
I'm
to
just
some
learning.
yeah, but there's different aspects, and I think that this year been able to put it into sharper relief how we can actually find little things that we're doing that are kind of annoying, that are just ways that we can get them automated out of the way, or get using
Have
any
to
sort of coding.
automate.
Yeah, or any little bits of coding that you could do to like make something that's like annoying that you do all the time to have it just be automatic.
Yeah, use it to your advantage, right? So that's why I'm trying to learn. I'm in the automations. I think that's my win this year. So you're I guess there's very similar, Phelan. You got another one? That's my win. Hey, get your own. Shit, I
Well,
was
they could
second.
both be the same. You could expand on it,
Typically,
what you're doing
typically
with
your
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
typically when your goals are aligned, your wins and challenges will also be, especially if you're in the same company. Makes sense.
All
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
all right.
It stands to reason. Like I'm not just saying this for no reason. I'm saying
Yeah.
it because we're both working in this stuff. So yeah, it's just ways that I'm also looking at like onboarding stuff. Now I'm thinking about how we can, where are points that we could do it, that we'd have like a more of a CRM style, like a more traditional CRM style with like, hey, when this happens, move them to the next stage and do it automatically rather than me having to do it. So things like that.
I think that gives you more of an understanding of your own business too. Cause I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I mean, every year this time of year, I always say it's the busiest time of year. I think new deals come in usually for us around this time of year. People wait in until after the election, which really affected us for our marketing. I mean, okay, let's get into the lessons. Because I mean, these are funny, painful lessons, or it can be losses. They can be anything, right? What did you learn that you won't do next year? Or what did you glean from this year? So I'll go first. No, maybe I'll go last because yeah, I'm gonna make Rena go first. Rena.
All right. So I actually didn't get done with my grant thing. I got two things that I want to just point out. This is really the big win. So this is not services provided. This is grant money secured. So we got $181,145 in grant funding for 14 small business owners. And I feel really good about that. So that's my big win this year. And that went up considerably from last year. And so what I wanted to say about my thank you. I should pause. Yes, that's true. Pause for
I'm gonna
applause.
try to find the clapping.
Where's the sound effect?
I know. So that was good. And then so the second my challenges are, oh my goodness. So then of course thank you. Oh, that's so funny. So the challenges that I had were pretty funny if you think about it, because of course we all know that revenue is one thing, but profit is king. And so I got really excited about my increased revenue, and I invested in two very large courses and certifications and that type of thing, which I think will serve me in the future. I don't have buyer's remorse at all. But had I had my books in proper, you know, in, done properly and organized like they should have been, um, because they're just now. We've got somebody new. She's fantastic. If you need a referral, let me know. But I would have seen quite clearly that all of that reinvestment was going to make things a little pinchy for me in September, October, November, December, which it was a little pinchy in terms of cash flow management. So I think that I would never make another large purchase without running it by my accountant next time, or any new hires. I probably would run past my accountant first. I think that was my big lesson. And did I have a second lesson? I think that was like the one that really shook me the most, because I still feel like I'm struggling, which is you want to not feel like you're struggling when you're not supposed to be struggling, when you're not in, when the sales are there, you want to feel good. You want to feel like the sales are there, is what I'm trying to
Yeah.
say. Oh,
Yeah.
and then the second challenge I had was also in hiring. So, and that's not just this year. This is like all the years. But I think what I've come to realize is that once you have your VA organized and you've got a lot of the low activities, hanging activities off of your plate, the next hire needs to be somebody better than you at something. It needs to be better. They need to be better than you so that they can honestly take stuff off your plate. Because I just did that and it was by accident completely. I didn't really realize how talented and experienced this person was because I hired in panic
Do we want to name
and
them?
I
Do we want to name them?
Oh, we always wanted to. Deanne is amazing. She's my favorite. She's just so good at her job. She's just so good at her job. So she has made my life infinitely easier. And so this is why, and now I understand. So I had heard hire somebody better than you, hire somebody who's really good at what they're going to do. Don't hire somebody like too green. You actually need to have a good amount of high level staff in order to maintain and manage green people, train them up because you're going to spend a lot of time with them. So it's much better to have that you need to be able to support them basically. So I wouldn't say me going through the grant system and hiring uh, uh, new people in the industry has always worked. In fact, it's not worked out for me. It's never worked out for me. It's always been really hard. But now I can have Deanne in, and between the two of us, we can tag team, and it just makes life a lot easier.
Greg, how do you feel about that?
I feel like that is really good information. I mean, I don't know why anybody would ever think not to hire someone amazing. But I think maybe
Yeah.
Can't afford
people,
them. That's a good reason.
But
well, true. But if you can afford someone, you should never have the mindset of I can't hire someone smarter than me. What a stupid thing to think.
yeah, sometimes people do it for ego reasons. They think that they need to be the
They
most.
do, and that's why
Wait.
those
I used to
people.
date dumber, but I didn't know I was dating dumber. Like and then I changed who I was dating. That's why I met Phelan because he's not dumber.
I'm glad.
But
I'm glad you
but it
finished
was
that
Yeah,
sentence.
it was a great decision. And I didn't know I did that. But so maybe people don't know they do that. Like I like hiring some green people because they're just I want to hire who really wants a job. Sometimes might be
Sometimes the
my
people
yeah.
who really want a job are not skilled enough in the area. So you can teach a lot of things. You certainly can. But the thing that I found that I couldn't teach, which I now have a word for, I used to call it detail oriented, but everybody considers themselves detail oriented when you actually ask them. And it's not detail oriented, it's thoroughness. So do they actually check their work? That's not because they're detail oriented. That's because they're
That's a
thorough with their
learned
job.
behavior, though.
No, it is not. There are some people who will always do it and some people who will never do it. And that's the
I
bottom
think they
line.
learn after time, right? Because one of the people we work with, he's fantastic. Like he's come up over the last 2 years, and he's pretty fantastic. And we just figured out that he needs to check, like when you publish a blog post, and then you check it, but oftentimes you don't check the blog post page, right, where you should as well.
So, I guess what I mean though is that it's not like you can't take people that don't have experience and build them up to somebody who is more experienced. That's absolutely true. But for your second, third, and fourth hires, it shouldn't always be new people because you just become a revolving door. That's what was happening with me. I would train them up to a certain level and then they'd go work with another agency. And it was always like a lot of extra work on my part. So
and I think that makes me realize that there's a point to determine, and I think I've talked to Rena maybe about this before, or some of you, about there's smart people and then there's like skilled people. So, but it's not necessarily the case that a skilled person is really smart and really good. You could have a really good skilled person who just doesn't know how to make their own decisions. And I think it was you, Rena, that we were talking about
yeah.
some people that you were dealing with who were just like, they can't make a choice, and everything they basically can't make decisions without on their own without having
But
questioning
in all,
you. Why do I do?
yeah.
Should I do it like
But
this? It's just like a no brainer
But in
thing
all
to do.
fairness, it's more I think that even can be taught, because I did have somebody in my company a while back who used to do that too. And it wasn't because she couldn't make a decision. She was smart enough to make a decision. It's just that she didn't want to make the wrong decision and disappoint me. So we worked out this really fantastic system. I One of my coaches told me this, is that the rule became, you bring two you have a challenge, bring two options to me and we'll decide together. And that gives them the confidence to understand why I make the kinds of decisions, because I explain, okay, we're going to do this one and here's why, and we're not going to do this one and here's why not. And it's, and that helps them to actually understand the parameters of how to make decisions in your business, because both options could be good, but one option is going to be right for the case or the company or the whatever, you know?
Mhm.
Anyways,
You're muted.
It sounds like you're on the path, Rena, of continuing to hire. Greg, will you be taking
yeah.
that path this year? No? Greg's still in the same boat. Okay. You got a lesson you learned?
Well, I learned that if you keep the doors of relationships open, they'll come back at you 20 years later.
Interesting. So that
No,
phrasing
I
of
think
if
That's true.
it's not a lesson I learned, but I think a lesson for people to understand is that all relationships that you form, no matter how far back or how beneficial they might be for you, um, anything is possible. You know,
Yeah.
so
oh, I love that.
And
It's a
it
good
this is the
sometimes
lesson.
philosophy that I take typically when I have clients leave me. I
mm,
like shower them with pleasure as they go to the other
the
service that
offboarding
they're
service is
Phrasing.
yeah,
offboarding is good.
because
Yeah.
I've this year, I think it was this year, yeah, it was this year, I had a very long time client call me and basically awkwardly, without saying he's going
Can I
somewhere
come
else,
back?
say that he's going somewhere else. And because we had that long relationship, I was like, are you, jokingly, I was like, "Are you breaking up with me? It's okay if you're breaking up with me. Like I don't have a monopoly on whatever." And yeah, so he basically said, "Yeah, I'm going to try something else." And I was like, "Okay, whatever you need me to send to the new person, like just let me know.
That's
I'm not going to
nice.
burn that bridge." And then I think it was like a week to 10 days later, I got a message from him. Will you take me back? So,
That's lovely. That's a nice,
great.
that's really nice because that says a lot about camaraderie and, because marketing is a group effort. We don't own our people's stuff, right? But we just work with them. But that's the thing. I always like to say we work with people, not for them, right? That's the difference between being your own boss.
Over all of my years, I have learned that it's not personal. And I should not get myself all worked up because a client's leaving or I get a client. I'm level headed the entire time. I get some, often or not very often, I'll lose one, but things
Mm.
just cycle around, right? Like it's nothing to get all waste your energy over.
Well, it is hard. It is hard sometimes to
It's hard, yes, but you have to deal with it in
you do.
a way of like focusing on the things that you need to do and don't focus on why
Yeah.
you you should
Don't focus
maybe
on the
think, why
losses.
is this client leaving, because maybe there's a business lesson you can learn. Did I do something wrong or
Could I
whatever,
improve?
but don't hold on to that bitterness or grudge, because clients make decisions for their business, right?
Yeah. We've
It's
learned
not
that. That's our big lesson over the
uh,
years. Well, my big lesson, anyways, because we had some attrition about 3 months ago. That did really affect our business because we had tried hiring and we had changed all these systems. And so we were just pedaling for life. And oh my God, it just like it wasn't about us. It was about their businesses, as you said, right? But I mean, I guess after 10 years, you kind of start to see that there's sometimes no rhyme or reason. Like they might leave just because they met somebody else or they're closing down their business. I mean, I've had two people close down their businesses while we've worked with them. Two, is it
Yeah,
two or three?
too.
And so yeah, that's our big lesson, or my big lesson too, is the like, don't, well, I'm not as level headed as you, Greg.
I
But
used to get so mad at clients or potential clients to be like, "Oh, my friend's son um, said he would do it,"
Oh yeah,
and
yes.
I'm like,
I love
"All
that.
right,
That's my favorite.
go
I
go
got that.
go waste your time with that for a while.
I got that
I'll
this
be here
year.
when you need someone who knows what they're doing."
Yeah, I got that this year. My son is tech savvy. He's going to do the social posts, and I just had a little peek the other day, and it looks like the videos that were being posted are done in a completely not a great way. So they've gone from having like hundreds and hundreds and sometimes even thousands of views on their content to the last one was 18 reach 18, not even views, and because you can't track views when you share the video in a particular way, and 17 the one previous, and I didn't go any farther but down the line. But it's true, it's that is disappointing because you spend all the time working up somebody's assets and getting the numbers in a good place. Oh, I've got actually another client that did something like that about their ads, and now I'm still CC'd into the Facebook thinks you have some performance
Mm.
issues with your, emails notifications, and I'm like, oh yeah, of course you do, and it's disappointing because they spend all that money, you spend all that time getting them to a certain place, and then if they forget to remove you from the assets, you just see it go down and down and down, and it just breaks your heart sometimes.
really, does it break your heart? Does it
It
when they
does.
leave you?
Yeah, it
Sometimes
does.
I'm like, ha
Yeah, it does.
ha! I
No,
do
it
check a
breaks my heart when
client's.
they leave me and they don't get the same kind of results. That's what breaks my
Yeah,
heart.
yeah, for sure. And Phelan, let's go to you. What is it? I know we're out of time, but we're
It's the
not out of
last one. We
touch.
can go long.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I can't. I can't go long.
Why?
But because I have a meeting
Oh,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah. Tell us about your biggest lesson
uh,
this year.
uh, I think we've kind of covered it, and it's definitely the lesson that most people gain is like don't have all your eggs like in one boss. Basically, if you're gonna get hired by someone, don't have one of them be like your whale. That if something happens to them, that totally screws your
Yeah.
business. We had that happen where our top three clients all pulled back.
Because
Also,
of
don't be
climate change.
yeah, and so there, like, it wasn't anything we were doing, so that can also happen where it's absolutely nothing to do with you, but it's like some external forces caused it that they need to do a shift and cut budgets, and that can happen. And there's also a lot of lessons about unpredictability right now, because anyone that says that the market is predictable at this moment is lying to you.
Totally.
And so that's kind of my biggest lesson is that yeah, we're in for a big time of, I suspect, unpredictability, because there's just a lot of things in the world that are changing and shifting right now, and who knows where it's all going to shake out. So don't.
Especially in the search and AI um,
Yeah,
industry. There's going to be
Yeah,
major change in the
upheaval.
next little
Well,
while.
it's a couple of years ago, Facebook went through a big change with their advertising, and I know a lot of business owners who lost, like a lot of marketing people who lost their jobs, and I mean, we're seeing some of that now, but yeah, search is like it. I mean, it was epic before, but now it's like on fire epic. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, what an industry, what a time. Like it is exciting the ways we can communicate now. It's, more interactive anyway, right? And, remember 1990, whatever with the websites? Remember those websites with the flashing and the baubles and stuff?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Space Jam,
yeah, yeah.
the Space Jam website, like that, it's still up. That's why I reference it, is that it's
Ooh.
still left in all its 1994 HTML glory.
Oh, we should put that in the comments. We should go, but if you are tagging along with us today, let us know what your wins were and your lessons, and we'll keep this one posted in the group for the next couple weeks. We'll be around, but probably more text than video, I think. We don't have Geek Speak for a couple weeks, but then, oh my gosh, next year is going to be a fantastic, and we'll have so much fun, right?
Our
Right?
first
Yes.
topic for next year is going to be
Is
me and Rena doing exploring web design trends for 2025. So we're off
All
for 3
right.
weeks, but our first week back is going to be January 9th, and that's our topic.
okay, and will you
Oh,
be writing the blog post before or after?
Before, hopefully.
Interesting. All right, Rena. Yes. I see you. What were you going to say?
I write my blog posts after.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I write them when I have time.
Yep.
All right. We will see you all sooner than later. And thank you for joining us. And if you missed the whole show it's not a show, it's more of a communication, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know you guys just think I'm weird. Anyway, we will see you next week or in a couple
Next
weeks.
year.
And yes. All right. Have a great day. See you in the comments. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.